Good afternoon. My name is Corey Keplinger, and I will be talking a little bit today about COSO framework and a little bit about the organization itself. So, what is COSO? COSO stands for the Community of Sponsoring Organizations, and this organization is made up of 5 other organizations, and these 5 are the American Accounting Association, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Financial Executives International, the Association of Accountants and Financial Professionals in Business, and the Institute of Internal Auditors. So, COSO works in the global marketplace, developing guidance and control to enable good organizational governance and the reduction of fraud. They do this as well as providing leadership in enterprise risk management, internal control, and fraud deterrence. COSO was organized in 1985 and has since published framework and studies to help businesses learn more about enterprise risk management and internal control. So COSO has 5 control components that they use to monitor fraud, risk management, internal control, and these are control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and communication, and monitoring. So these components are applied as a criteria for assessing the effectiveness of a control system within a business and to see how vulnerable the business is to fraud. Businesses can use these components to weigh on future ventures, but they can also be used to analyze how the fraud case actually happened. They can use it in reverse. So I looked up a case and found WorldCom, and the study showed how these principles were applied. So the case was one of the largest financial fraud scandals in American corporate history as well as the world, where $11 billion worth of fraudulent accounting and misstatements were detected. So using the COSO components in the case, they showed extreme pressure from upper management on lower level employees to make these misleading journal entries. And because of these journal entries, the company grew so rapidly that they were taking on so much, and none of these risks were being assessed by the company. They had a lack of instruction and weak controls internally and externally. They would block information so that it wasn't available for audits. And the internal audit department was extremely understaffed. It only had 50 employees, and a company of their size at that time was supposed to have 100 to 150 employees helping with the internal audit. So COSO has been widely used for financial business because of the passing of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which implemented so many more controls into reporting of finances. But actually, the components can be used outside of enterprise risk management and fraud detection, and it can be applied to areas such as customer profitability analysis, supply chain recording, asset utilization, customer satisfaction measures, and even health and safety measures within a company. So since its start in 1985, COSO has seen several updates to its framework, but in 2013 was one of the major updates to the internal control integrated framework. Since the framework was published in 1992, many things about business have changed. Stakeholders' expectations have evolved enormously. New regulations have been implemented. Companies have participated in globalization, so there's a lot more at stake. And companies now have new expectations for accountability among employees. The new updates have delivered a number of benefits, including improved governance, expanded use beyond financial reporting, improved quality of risk assessment, strengthened anti-fraud efforts, ability to adapt to changing business models, and greater applicability to things within a business. So with the business world ever changing, more and more controls will probably be implemented in the future. But with companies like this or organizations like COSO, um, they are actively working to prevent bad business practices in the world today.